started. Okay, just wait a moment to make sure that everyone can see my screen.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah? Okay, great. Perfect. So thank you very much to everyone for joining today. This is the first DiverSure webinar, first of many that we're going to be doing for our partners, a way to provide you with information about diving insurance, give you tips and tricks on how to offer insurance to your divers, and this particular one to talk about maximizing your revenue. This webinar is called The Essential Insurance Strategy Your Dive Shop Needs Now. Let's take a look. So we are your hosts. We have Jean-Claude Monachon, who's a much loved and long-term DiverSure partner of ours. And some of you might know him from the diving industry. And my name is Lily Langenberg. I'm the social media marketing manager for DiverSure and have been with DiverSure for over 7 years. And I also have been working in the diving industry for 15 years now. So as a diving instructor trainer, so I have quite a lot of experience in the diving world.
Thank you, Lily. So basically, just to say a few words why I'm here, because many people know me in a different function. I'm also the vice president for SSI for the international business development. But I'm a very good partner since many, many years with DiverSure, and we have decided to launch this series of webinars for partners like you or for end consumers to give more value to the market, to understand why the insurance program are important. My role is very simple. First of all, I'm not an insurance salesperson, but I think insurance is so critical when you travel around, and I see so many dive centers around the world. I was just coming back from Australia a few days ago, and you realize that in our industry, people still struggle to talk about insurance, whereas it is a must actually to talk about it. But the aim of this webinar is really to give you the possibilities to understand how to position the insurance, how you can earn more money at the end of the day, but also make sure that your reputation as a professional or dive center manager, owner, is not influenced by not having talked about it. This is quite critical. So I think this is really the main goal of these webinars, that we bring you closer to this topic in a way that you will see over the next few webinars, that you will have more tools in your hands, that you do not feel uncomfortable talking about this subject.
That's right. Thank you very much, JC. Okay, let's just take a look at what we're going to be going over today. The goal is to understand why having the right insurance coverage protects your business, your divers, and your reputation. We're going to look at the unique risks of running a dive shop, why dive insurance is non-negotiable, why professional liability insurance is a must, benefits for your dive shop, why you should partner with DiverSure, and some revenue examples. Let's take a look at the unique risks of running a dive business. I mean, I'm sure you're all aware of these risks as dive center owners or operators yourselves. But we're just gonna discuss each point and how this is important for having a diving insurance or even offering diving insurance to your divers. Obviously, as a diving business, in-water incidents are probably the major factor, the main danger that we have. Even if we put all the best practices into place, we have the best trained instructors, we trust our diving professionals, and we do everything right, there are always some factors that could influence and create or lead to an in-water incident. We have diving gear that we need to keep maintained and up to date. and be inspected, which again, even if we do that, there's still a risk. We have the human factor, so we don't know always who we're taking in the water and how they respond to being under the water or to a stress situation. And their behavior could influence or cause a diving incident, either for themselves or for other people around them, their dive buddy or diving professional. And we also have underlying health conditions that I'm sure some of you have experienced, that either divers are not honest with us, they don't mention a health concern that they have, which could lead to an in-water incident, or they perhaps are not aware of it. How many times after a decompression sickness do people find out that they actually have a perforation in their heart? So this is a major factor of risk when running a diving business. We have incidents that can happen before or after the dive, whether it be getting to the dive site on foot, by car, or by boat. Accidents that happen when gearing up, entering from the shore or jumping from the boat. And of course, we can have things that happen while under the water, perhaps a change of weather conditions. I've had it before where we go out in beautiful, clear skies and very flat water. And of course, on this day, you don't mention in the briefing how to behave when you have a storm and 2-meter waves. And then you actually come up from the dive and what do you have? Storm and 2-meter waves. And then suddenly you're trying to brief all your guests in the water in this stressful situation about how to get back on the boat safely. And in this situation, it's quite possible that something goes wrong. We have medical emergencies. Our body is subjected to quite a lot of exertion when we dive, and I think many people, especially people that don't dive often or novice divers, are perhaps not aware of this, as we often sell diving as such a relaxing sport. It is relaxing, but it's also quite hard on our bodies, especially if we're not physically fit. Treatment and aftercare for any medical emergency that involves diving is very expensive and also quite complicated. It can be very complicated to organize evacuations, transportation of somebody who's injured and has had a diving accident. And if we are in a remote area, things like helicopters, speedboats, or even if we need to organize a special international flight between 2 different countries, can be very complex and costly. We have liability risk. So again, even if we have done everything right, there's always the chance that a diver will blame us for something that happened. This can affect the dive center staff, and your reputation. If a diver has a diving accident insurance, they're much less likely to want to blame the dive center if something goes wrong, because they will be covered for the accident. They won't have to fish out any of their own money, and they won't feel the need to sue or blame the dive center or diving staff. So this is quite a big reason for ensuring that your divers get covered. And of course, for you as a diving business to have liability insurance.
Yeah, maybe if I can add something here.
Of course.
Nowadays, everything is related to reputation. You have TripAdvisor, but you have many other platforms like Google My Business. You have Facebook, where people will leave a review about your services. And no matter how good your services are, if something happened which is not even in your hands, and let's say that was this situation that the person was not insured or not informed about the insurance, but you did everything right, this person may write a review. And if this review is written in a way that even everything could have been written, okay, everything was perfect, the staff took care of me, everything was correct, And that would be a 5.0 review, which would be good for your SEO research and so on. But it can be that the person says, but I was not being made aware that I should have been insured. And then she gives a 1.0. That will harm tremendously your position within Google, for example, to be seen, to be searched. So this is quite important, that something like that should not happen. So that's why it is really important to understand the risk that are involved, the business risk that are involved if you do not talk about this subject.
Yeah, I definitely noticed when, you know, working for years in different diving centers, I've worked all over the world, and many of the dive centers I worked for didn't dare talk about insurance. They felt like they don't want to be almost responsible for it. This is something the diver has to take care of themselves, and they don't want to be a part of it. But what I realized when I was working as a diving instructor is actually so many divers dive without insurance and are just not aware of the consequences, especially when they come from countries that provide a national health insurance. They feel very safe. They feel like no, they're always going to be taken care of. They're always going to be covered. And this is not the case, especially when it comes to diving and especially in most countries over the world. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Okay, we have yeah, gear loss or damage. So obviously, during a diving incident, if it's an emergency, quite often diving gear is going to get lost. This could be diving gear of your diver. It could belong to them, and again, this could be a cause for a claim or a liability risk that they claim you against you for negligence for leaving the diving gear behind, for example. And we have misconduct or negligence. Hopefully everyone trusts the people that they hire, and we always, you know, even if we check references and we assume that they're doing a good job, it's always good as a dive center manager or owner to just every so often join a dive, keep an eye on what's happening around, sit in on a diving course, and just make sure that your staff are really doing what they're supposed to be doing and really taking appropriate care. Because if a staff member is negligent or does any malconduct, this could reflect badly on your diving business. Let's take a look at why dive insurance is non-negotiable. How many times have you heard in the diving industry, yeah, I have my TUI travel insurance, I don't need a diving insurance. The amount of times I've then asked them to show me the policy, and I've just found very quickly that under covered activities, yes, it says scuba diving, but it's limited perhaps to even 5 meters I've seen before. If you're lucky, 18 meters, but then no cave diving, no tech diving. There's very many exceptions, and the limits can be very low. It would not even cover one chamber treatment. And this is something that if we can, in a very, you know, gentle way, just talk to our customers about it and just say, okay, that's great that you have travel insurance, but would you mind if I take a look that we really make sure you're covered? And just be the assistant, help them, guide them, and consult them if you see that their travel insurance actually isn't enough. Give them the information, make sure they're aware, and show them the difference. And of course, if they still reject it, if they still say, no, I'm fine with the coverage I have, well, that's on them. I would always recommend that it's part of your registration form. When you register your divers, when they sign up to dive with you, that somewhere in there, you're not just taking the diving insurance details, but there's also a disclaimer that if they reject coverage, if they say they do not want to be insured, that they're aware of the consequences. So as we see, many policies exclude diving or have strict limits. If costs go uncovered, it's in the end, the reputation that is at risk is your own as a diving center or dive shop. The customers aren't going to blame necessarily the insurance. They're not going to blame themselves. They're not going to go, oh, if only I had got the insurance. They're going to blame you as a dive center for not taking care of them. So this is something to really keep in mind when you decide whether to offer insurance to your customers or not. Proper coverage guarantees fast response and care. This is something that's also very important, and I feel like a lot of diving professionals are not aware of this. Diving insurance is not just about covering the cost. We have a whole team of professionals and an emergency hotline that takes care of every detail of an accident and make sure that the diver gets from the dive site to the nearest best possible medical facility for treating diving accidents as smoothly and as easily as possible. And sometimes it's not just as easy as that. Sometimes you have to get them to the first medical center where they perhaps get emergency oxygen, to then move to a better facility, which is further away, to get a chamber treatment, to then end up getting flown back home where they continue treatment, which is not available in the country they're in. You could have a golden platinum Visa card with no limits and have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the connections, you don't know who to talk to, how to organize this, it can delay your treatment or the treatment of your divers by a lot. And of course, if you have a diver that's not insured, they're going to be looking at you for the answers. They're going to ask you to help them to get from A to B, and for you to help them to get from one hospital to another or one country to another, which is a major stressful situation. So yeah, that's another big reason for making sure that your divers do not dive without insurance. We also should keep in mind that even if everyone has diving insurance, even if we say our divers only dive with insurance, we should also consider that professional liability insurance is a must for our diving business and also for our diving professionals. This protects us against legal claims. Even if the claim is unfounded, we still have a lot of costs involved in proving that. We have to perhaps go to court, we have to hire lawyers, and all of this has quite a large cost, which if we don't have an insurance, we will have to carry ourselves. Yeah, so even if the claim proves to be incorrect and actually they can prove that you did everything right, you're still going to have costs, and it could even affect the reputation of your business. So we safeguard your business and reputation. One lawsuit can cripple your dive center financially and damage its public image. With a liability insurance, you get covered for helping to restore your business, whether it means taking off content online that is incorrect, removing perhaps a review that has been published incorrectly, to help get your image back. And it provides peace of mind for you and your instructors. If you know that if you do everything right and then something happens and you get blamed for it, you're going to be covered, then you can feel a lot more confident when teaching diving or guiding dives. So let's look at the benefits for your dive center, for being a DiverSure partner and for offering diving insurance to your guests. So it offers peace of mind. Insurance offers peace of mind for you as a dive center owner, because you know that in the event that something happens, that it's covered, and also that you have a professional team behind you helping to organize emergency evacuation, transportation, and repatriation for the diver. And it provides peace of mind for your diver. If your diver knows that you take care, that you take note of the insurance policy that they have, they know that in the event something happens, you've got everything organized and everything in place. Some of the most recent dive centers that I visited for fun dives, I was actually quite shocked that they didn't even when I asked them, do you want my insurance policy? They were like, no, we don't need that. Which actually just made me think, okay, so you don't really care about us. Because if something happens to me and no one else has my insurance information, then it's going to be quite difficult to find it. So the dive center should be the place that keeps hold of this information. Trust, that kind of follows on from what I just said. I kind of lost trust in this dive center for not wanting my insurance information, because I thought, okay, they're not really professional. Protection, by having a current liability insurance, we protect our revenue, but also our reputation, as we just discussed before. And also for having insurance for your divers, it offers protection for them. As I'm sure you're aware, you can earn fees. So as a DiveShore partner, you earn referral fees for each plan purchased through your center, which earns you and your dive staff an extra income. It shows that you're professional by caring about the welfare of your staff and its divers. And you also have an added benefit that you can offer the Dive Leader Partner Program, which means you can offer to your diving professionals that they register as well as a partner, and you can both benefit from it. So you would both earn income off of the same coverage. This encourages your diving professionals to talk about insurance to their divers, because it's not just then the peace of mind factor, but they also get to earn a little bit of extra income.
Yeah, and the dive professionals should really be involved in that. And we are going to have a session at the end of this month, especially for this group, where they will be able to receive more first-hand information and more tips and suggestions on how to promote it as well. So every partner or every DLP should definitely join in that. So please pass also the word to your professionals. They should register if they don't have done so far, but we'll send also an email to invite them.
Yeah, it also makes sense for dive center owners to join, because you like JC just said, you can pass this information on to your professionals. And yeah, I mean, I've worked for dive centers before where the manager wanted to implement insurance and offering insurance to their divers in the dive center. But if the professionals aren't on board, it doesn't happen, because they're the ones talking to the divers. Let's take a look at why I choose DiverShore over other insurances. We offer the partner program. We have 100% focused dive and travel insurance. So all of our coverage plans are focused on diving accident. And also we have our really specialized travel programs that offer not just diving accident, non-diving accident coverage, but also trip cancellation, up to $25,000, loss of gear, loss of luggage, loss of diving days because of certain events. So we have a really specialized protection for divers for their expensive dive travel as well. We have comprehensive plans, which cover hyperbaric chamber treatments, obviously diving accident, trips, diving gear. We have 24/7 support with our emergency hotline in place. We also have a non-emergency hotline. We don't have any depth or gas limits for divers, as long as they dive within their level of certification. And we offer tools and training for partners. So if you're already a partner, or if you're planning to be a partner, and you still feel a little bit lost even after this webinar, please get in touch. We can offer you special training to make sure that you feel confident and comfortable in offering diving insurance and DiverShore plans to your customers.
Yeah, and maybe this is a good opportunity to say also, if you have, let's say, specific hurdles, or you don't feel comfortable on talking about it, you can also let us know in the chat or in the Q&A, and maybe ask us what would be missing in your point of view, in terms of providing the information, what would be helpful, so that we can also tailor the next webinar going into this direction, because we have several topics, but obviously we want to make sure also that you get the most out of it. So we want to provide you as much value as possible. So don't hesitate to let us know.
Yeah, thank you. Let's just take a quick look at the revenue opportunity, because it's very easy to just be told, but you can get 10% on every plan that you sell. But it's maybe quite difficult to visualize that. I don't know the size of your dive centers, and obviously that will vary a lot in how many customers you have per year. I assume most of you have a customer database, which means that you stay in contact with your customers throughout the year. And even maybe someone who's just dived with you once, if you have an email address and you send out newsletters, this is a chance to offer them a Dive Ashore plan. Because even if they never dive with you again, they may be going on a diving trip and they may be looking at which kind of insurance they could purchase. And if you're sending the email at the right moment, they could go, oh, that's great, I needed this information. They sign up through your unique link, and then you have created a Dive Ashore customer, which earns you the referral fees. So if we take a look at an average travel plan, the annual one, let's say for 230 euros, I mean, as you know, they can vary quite a lot. You can earn, depending on the country of residence, between 9 and 20%. And if you had 100 customers purchase one of these plans, that would earn you 23,000. Well, sorry, that would be 23,000 euros, which would earn you in the end, if you were to have the 9% commission rate, 2,070 euros, or if you had the high commission rate, it would be 4,600 euros. So depending on how many divers you have throughout the years and how many you have in a database, you could easily sell this many plans in a year. And this can be a repeated earning. So if you're an active partner and then these people renew, whether it be on an annual basis or per trip, you would receive the referral fees again for each continued sale. So if the same person purchases a second plan, then you would get the referral fees on that. So they remain your special Dive Ashore customer.
So that's a guaranteed recurring revenue, actually. So it's quite good, especially if you are located in a resort, like in the Bahamas, and they go back to anywhere in the city or in Europe. Basically, you continue to earn that and to be close to your customer. So that's really something that has a value of being in a long-term relationship with your customer without having to do anything at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if you did the open water course with them, I mean, who forgets the dive center that did the open water course with you? I mean, you're going to remember them forever, and you're going to want to see emails from them and updates. And if they're the ones to recommend the diving insurance to you, you're probably going to go with it because you're going to trust them. Even if you never dive with them again, maybe, I mean, I've never been to the Bahamas, but if I went, it would probably be a once in a lifetime trip. I'd love to go. But if I had a dive center there, I may never dive with them again, but I could stay in touch. It's always nice to see content from other places, and if they're the ones to recommend the insurance to you, then you purchase it once with them, with that dive center, and then every time you renew, that dive center is going to be earning from this one-time sale that they made. So it's quite little effort for quite a good, continued earning. If we take a look at the average diving accident plan, I've taken an average between the prices that we have all around the world, as they do vary slightly. You can earn between 9 and 10% on referral fees, and if 100 customers purchase these plans, you would earn approximately 9,000. Well, sorry, it would be approximately 9,000 euros of sales, and you would earn between 900 and 10,000. 900 and 1,000 euros, sorry. And again, this is something that would be reoccurring. So if they purchased it once through you, and you remained an active partner, then you would continue to earn throughout their diving career or diving lifetime. Yeah. If you don't know already, of course, I think you all have if you were partners already, you would get a unique partner link. And you can really place this anywhere. So you can put this in a newsletter, in an email, but you can also get a QR code that you can place in your dive center, that while perhaps you're checking in other divers, you can let them register themselves online. You can also place this on your websites for people to sign up. And instead of, what I see a lot is that people just place a banner somewhere on their website and it's quite hidden. I would recommend, if you really want to earn something with this, have an extra tab named diving insurance, so that when people enter your website and see your home bar with diving courses and diving trips and dive sites, that also there's diving insurance. And then you can just have a very short text explaining the importance of it. We can provide text for you. We can help you with this if you need it, and add your unique link and the banner there somewhere that's very prominent, that people actually see it and feel inclined to click on it. And you will find that there will be a lot more traffic going through this link than if you just hide it somewhere on the website. Yeah. So for those who haven't, you can sign up today. You can sign up immediately. Once you've signed up, the important thing would be just to not keep it to yourself. Make sure your team is aware and that your team get trained. Just talk to us about getting a training session. Make sure you incorporate the DiverShore plans into your registration forms. Make sure there's lots of sort of discussion points where you can talk about it from during the check-in. Perhaps have a poster on the wall in the dive center somewhere, and try to encourage your diving professionals to mention it in every briefing during their diving courses, that they make their divers aware. And yeah, it's a nice way of earning a little bit of extra pocket money for the dive center and its diving professionals. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the DLP. So it's the Dive Leader Partner Program. Remember, insurance protects you, your divers, and your business. If your diving professionals are dive leader partners, then they can refer the divers themselves. They take on the work themselves to get the divers registered for a diving accident or travel plan. They earn the fees, but if they are connected with your diving center and they're registered as staff at your dive center, you as a dive center and as a DiverShore partner will also earn fees on the same referral. And by encouraging your dive professionals to sign up as a DLP, you encourage them to discuss insurance. As JC's already mentioned, most diving professionals don't feel comfortable talking about insurance. It's one of these subjects that's often kind of just gets brushed over very quickly. You ask, do you have insurance? Yes or no? Okay, and that's it, and you move on. And this would be a good opportunity to really learn how to discuss it properly, how to make people aware without scaring them. Of course, we don't want people thinking they're going to have an accident every time they enter the water, but they need to be aware of the consequence if something were to happen, and how small an extra amount it is to just get a diving insurance and to cover their back so that they can dive with peace of mind. So as JC already said, but I'm just going to state it again, we do have a DLP webinar coming up. This would be great for diving professionals to join, but I also encourage dive centers that are DiverShore partners to join to find out a little bit more about it. This will be on the 29th of September. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining. JC, is there any questions that
No, I
Anybody
don't see
else?
any questions. Thank you very much, Lily, and thank you all for attending. And basically, if I would like to say again, if you have any specific demand on how you can be maybe more successful, on how you can position the insurance while not being an insurance salesperson, but providing this service of high value for your customers, then obviously let us know. I see Melinda, she says, do you offer professional liability for instructors?
Uh, in some countries we do, but
She's in the
unfortunately,
Bahamas.
yeah, unfortunately at this moment in time we do not offer it in the Bahamas. But we would definitely keep everyone posted if this changes at any time. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and soon there will be the DIMA show, so also we'll be there with Daiwa Show team at the DIMA show.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be at DEMA in November, please come and find us, come and have a chat. Yeah.
All right. If there is nothing else, I would say thank you very much. We will send you also an email where you will find the replay. So we will be organizing that. And then obviously you will be reminded for the next webinar. And we will be happy to see you again very soon.
Thank you for joining, everyone.
Thank you and bye-bye.